Welcome. Highnoon with Flemo. Back with a very special guest. It's episode 12. A bit of a hiatus from having guests. A few got too high, greened out. So we couldn't put them on air, and then I've just been rambling for the last 10 episodes, just thinking on my way into the city. But no, we're back, number 12, and we're back with a very special guest, a very good friend of mine, a comedian here in Melbourne. He does a lot of wonderful things as well, so we're going to discuss all that. Please welcome Glen Zen. How are you, Glenneth?
Hey, Flemo. Finally made it to high times, mate.
We got here, mate. We're fucking high. And we're in the perfect studio. We're actually in Chris Ash's studio now, and it's got all trippy lights, you know, the ones you can control from your phone or whatever. They change colours and do different things. And he could mess with us pretty hard, actually. Just start having them flicking around like there's a ghost. Yeah, if I didn't know what it was, what it's all up to. But no, it's a beautiful studio here in Brunswick. So shout out to Chris for letting us come on in. So how you been, Glenneth? What's been going on? We're in November 2018. No, December. Okay, I'm high. I'm allowed to fuck up. December 2018, about the 4th, 5th, somewhere around there. 5th. And this is how I interview. I find out. And the general time is weather outside. Actually we kicked off around 4:20. Beautiful. Big year. Lots of fun. Been digging it. Gigging it.
Yeah, it's been an up and down year like most years are, I guess. We're probably going to get to the subject at some point, so I'll introduce it here as my favourite love, the Brunny Hotel.
Yep.
Where we do comedy funny at the Brunny night. Is out of action and has been since, I think, late February, early March. Yeah, that long. And then you don't forget about it, but you get used to now that not being the focal point of the week, whereas before it's like, oh, it's Monday and you're excited for it. Like Mondays I still get some pang of, hey, something's going on, and then I realise, no, nothing's going on. And Mondays become quite a quiet day.
Yeah, so I do that with UFC gigs, but UFC, it's, we get UFCs on Sunday. I just base my week around watching television for 2 hours.
Yeah,
when 4 or 5 hours. Actually.
When you bounce out of bed and you become conscious of the day and awake, and it's, hey, today's today, but I don't get that anymore, whereas it was a large part.
Now, some doofus hit a fire hydrant, was it, out the front?
Doofus is very kind description. Okay. I've heard a lot worse.
Hit a fire hydrant and I went into the pub and just flooded it. Yeah. Just rained down.
And I think they called the water people, Yarra Water or whatever they're called, and they took 2 hours or something to get there. So because I think at the time people thought, well, this is a bit of fun. Like I've been at pubs or other situations, like I once played cricket in the street and this water pipe thing burst and it went flying, and we were kids and we loved it. We were running through it. It was a hot summer's day. It was good relief. I think we made up a rule, if you hit the water fountain, well, that was a 4. But it went for ages. It entertained our whole street for weeks.
Well, you get a bunch of drunks at the Brunny on the corner of Brunswick Street. Well, Sydney Road, isn't it? Brunswick Street.
High traffic area for cars and foot people.
Mate, think of the game you could have had. Cricket.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Dudes coming out of Doherty's. People coming out of McDonald's.
Well, there was some footage that went viral on, I'm not sure of the page's name, but like 2 million views of this dickhead who did run into the water thing, and you just show him get thrown and then flung to the ground. And I'd say he's probably still got some major shoulder issues from it.
Was he drunk or?
You'd have to expect he wasn't sober.
No.
Like, it's 1 a.m. He's the clown that decided, oh no, I'll run into that.
It was that late.
Stream of water, which is going extremely fast. And just the other day, I caught up with the lads from the Brunny, and they had a clip from a different angle from across the road of someone doing a very similar thing.
Sorry, so he drove into it while it was flying. The water was flying out.
Excuse me, no, a guy ran into it.
Ran into it, okay, yeah.
And got slammed to the ground. 2 different people did. But the guy that drove his car into it, then I think the car kept going over it. Because if the car had stayed on it, the car might have got tossed up into the roof as well, or at least airborne.
Wow.
maybe flipped, taking out a few people on the footpath. Well,
there's your viral video there. That's why they do it.
It's all fun and games till the car rolls over and squashes a virgin. Like, you can't have that.
Now, when's it due to be returning, Glenna?
Well, I live in Hope. Pretty much in every area of my life, but in this, I don't know. I went and saw the guys, and it's still a matter for insurance and what I would categorise as the bullshit category that they've got to go through.
So it hasn't been fixed yet either?
No, well, I go past it quite a lot, and 2 weeks ago I saw some tradie-looking guys in, their reflective vests and a ute go in there and shut the gate, and I thought, oh, yeah, this is great.
Looking for free beer.
Couple of workmen.
It's empty. They might have a free keg.
I don't think it'd be too fresh. I would be getting my beer somewhere else. But I got real excited about that, and I went and saw the lads, and they said, they were just doing some other further checks.
Yep.
Because they boarded up the windows, which always makes me think someone's doing some work.
Yep.
There's something going on there they don't want us to see, and then when they unveil it, there it is.
It's a fucking $2 shop.
Yeah. Well, there is a good one of those just down the road. Hot Potato, very good $2 shop.
Potato, can't mess with
Hot Potato, massive, great shop. But yeah, it's I'm hoping, and I don't have a date. I'm hoping for the early part of next year is the best I can hope, because it's not going to be this year.
Yep.
Much as I said, I hope every fortnight. I think I hope this is it, but
yep,
I've sort of trained myself to realise, just wait until.
No, it was a sick room, man. It was a really good. The crowd was always different. The vibe, and I think that rock vibe in that place as well really added to gave it a bit of a raw feel in the room, like a rock room.
Yeah, well, it had a nice stage and a nice, just the shape of the room and the amount of people you could fit in, sort of who could all see it well. It had a coziness, I think, in the crowd when it was a big crowd.
Yeah.
And we can only hope that we can replicate that so that when they do rebuild it, it doesn't lose that same feel that you talk about the rock thing.
You walk in, it's all polished and fucking we put marble in and fucking.
I'd be hoping that they're smart enough to return it to its former glory rather than try to recreate something that's not of the area.
Yeah,
let's say.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and the Brunny, apart from the comedy night, is an institution as a pub.
Yeah,
bands every night. A massive big beer garden. And they'd be hurting it. They're going to miss another significant part of summer.
And what are you going to do about Momi? You going to go DJ or have an MC?
Well, no, he's still around. There's been reports of his signing, and I have sightings. He's very fast. He's very fast. But I've got a job 4 days a week, and where I work, Mo lives not far from there. And a few times I've seen him, like Sunday just gone, I was doing something in the car park at work. I look up and there was this street.
He just goes flying fast.
And on the other side of the road, but heading for the tram, because I know that Mo was never on time for the Brunny or for any other time we caught up. So I was thinking to myself, well, it's about 11:53 here in North Melbourne. I'm tipping that Mo's got a shift starting at 12 somewhere in Brunswick, and he ain't going to make it. And off he goes.
Lightning goes past.
But he's worked out to go on the other side of the road, because a few times I've bailed him up, which costs him minutes he hasn't got.
Okay. Yeah.
So I saw him, it's traffic and everything. I didn't even get to shout out, where normally, and other times I've said, oh, yeah, we've had a good chat and it's been great to see him. But I think he's so kind and generous, that probably costs him. And that might explain why he's always late to places, because wherever he goes, people
might be talking to people, yeah.
Or he's too honourable to say, listen, mate, I've got to go to work. Like most people, look, I've got to get going. He'd be just, yes.
And it takes him 2 minutes to say goodbye.
How's your family? How's everything? Is everything okay? Everything all right? Yeah, he'd be too kind to be able to get away.
So you think you'll be able to get him back on for the Monday?
Yeah, well, I've made sure to keep in touch with him. Like I said, he works at the St. Vinny's, nearly opposite the Brunny.
Oh, cool.
So if ever I'm in that area, I'll pop my head in and see him. And he's picking up glasses at some pub up the road. I've popped in there and seen him a few times. And
is he getting paid, or is he just drunk?
I believe he's getting paid.
Oh, okay.
So I think he might be the head of the glass retrieving division. He had like a little flashing light on his little hat.
And the gloves?
Was just cutting through the crowd.
Gloves?
Of course, yeah, gloves. He was handling glassware.
Red ones?
Probably the most important time to have them.
Red ones?
I got a feeling they were yellow.
Oh, they were yellow.
Yeah.
It's branching out.
Well, it was a nightclub, and I think he wanted his hands to be seen.
Yeah.
Had that reflective stuff on them. So.
Well, it is Me Too time. You want everyone to see where your hands are going. Yeah, no, everyone could see it, mate.
Yeah, especially at his pace.
Yeah. lining across the dance floor.
But yeah, I can't imagine if he's in town. I can't imagine that he wouldn't be involved.
No, that's cool.
You know, and we're buddies.
Everyone will love that though, because that's part. He was a big part of the vibe of it and the different.
Oh yeah,
you know, for everyone over in the States or whatever, or other states here in Australia. So the Brunny wouldn't have an MC. It was just Mo Man, who's a bit of a character here. Where's he from initially? Kenya? Somalia. And he wears these red gloves everywhere, and he just DJs it. This person is fantastic. He's a god to me.
He sounds nothing like that. That's
no,
more like South African.
Yeah. There was a South African comedian on last night at the lounge. So
yeah, that must have got
that's what happened. Now, how long you been doing stand-up for, Glenn?
I'd be just over 6 years now.
6 years?
Yeah.
What was your first gig?
My first gig was I did a football club, like end of season night thing.
And
not like presentation night. They didn't have trophies. It was like just have a dinner and dance and.
He's a comedian.
Yeah.
And you got a first gig.
Yeah. Because I'd been going to workshops for a while and that.
Ah, okay.
Which I used to do.
So you knew you weren't just going, well, I want to be a stand-up comedian. I'm going to go book the worst possible gig I can imagine.
No.
Drunk football club.
I'd been going to the workshops and all the guys there were saying to me, I distinctly remember Dilrook was saying to me, man, you ready? You know, you got to do a gig. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not. And I was still too scared at my tender age. And I was like, because initially I went to the workshops open-minded and thought, I always love comedy. I'll have a look. And for a point at the start, I was like, I might just, write some funny stuff and I'll give it to some other characters I meet and they can do it because I haven't got the fucking balls to get up there and do it myself. Yeah. I'll just see how that goes. And then not long into the process of doing anything, fucking giving away my babies. I thought, no, sorry, I'm going to have to do it now. Shit.
Yeah.
No one tells you at the start, once you chew into that apple.
Yeah.
You're going to beat it all the way to the core. Like, you're a goner. So, yeah, I sort of thought I was ready, but I didn't want to do it there. I was like, and then through circumstance, this gig come up at this footy club. I won't go into I could tell you a big long story about how the gig came up, but basically I talked my way into it because one of the guys organising it sort of owed a friend a favour, and it was like, well, tell them they got a comedian to start the show, and he's like, what? On the night of the thing, and I'm like, just tell them they owe you. And he's like, looking back, I'm sure he was a bit like, fucking, what are you doing to me, man? He knew I aspired to do it, but to open on the night with 300 people, women, children, footballers, and all that. And I thought, I'll why not? And I was so, of course, shit myself, and I think I had 2 like Jim Beam cans. They gave them to me at the bar, and I'm thinking, well, this comedy's not a bad gig. I haven't said anything yet, and I've gotten 2 cans.
You should have just fucked
if I
off
go
there
home
and go
now,
up.
If I go home now, if only I knew what I know now. I would have got a 3rd can. But I got up there, and there was like, they'd had the dinner and that. So there was me, and there was a little area there with a chef, and you'd get your sliced meat and away you go, and add your cranberry sauce or gravy or whatever you had with it, and a few little potatoes, and off you go. And that bit was finished when I got up. So they introduced me, and the guy said, here is first time Glen Zen. I wore a hat because I was scared, so I had the hat sort of pulled down a bit. And he introduced me, gave him the mic, off he goes. And I just started talking. It didn't work, the mic, of course. And people might think, I'm making that up because, first gig story. No, it didn't fucking work. The MC will tell you. And I was like, I'm off to a good start, aren't I? So this guy hurries off, gets a new battery or a new mic or something, fix it. I think, away it goes. So I started into it, and I still do the occasional pun. I'd like to think I've not as many. I don't. I only do a couple now. But it was all puns.
Yep.
Because I thought, well, if I got 5 minutes, I can do 20 puns. That gives me 20 opportunities to get someone to laugh, rather than if I tell 5 1-minute stories and they don't laugh, I'm fucked. So I swung into it with that. And I remember I got a 1 or 2 in. I could remember the laugh would start that same part of the room every time, and then go, And I say every time, like, there was all these laughs. And it did seem like it. I don't know, it'd be interesting to listen back. Like, I'm not deluded or deaf.
It would kill you. You'd just be going, oh,
But there were, and maybe they were laughing at my awkward. It's a bit like I've heard people talk about how there's nothing quite like your first time.
Yeah.
You know, in all areas of life, but especially for the comedy, like there's no other gig you remember like it. And I do remember every bit. I can't remember all the little bits I said. I'd have it written somewhere, but I remember how it felt exactly. And I remember, like, beforehand, I was going to go up and these guys were, you know, patrons, and they're talking to me and they're like, oh, mate, you know, you've been doing this for a while. And I was like, yeah. Done a while. In the comedy festival, yeah, a little gig there. Where at, mate? And they're asking me all these questions. I think they were onto me, and I'm like, yeah, sort of trying to make out I'd done it for a while.
Had you got paid for it?
2 birds.
2 birds. Well, at least you didn't
And I
fucking
think
bomb.
I did have a third one. No.
Because that's the thing with puns and that, you can, like, that was a good logic where you like, at least people that are into puns are going to laugh really hard. People that aren't, some of them are going to catch. So your odds are going to be all right for a
love
good gig.
to be able to watch it.
Have you got it recorded?
Nah.
No, you didn't record it.
No, I didn't record
Yeah,
it.
I don't think I recorded
But I reckon
my
there was
first
300 there, and it's like I've there's no feeling quite like it. It was just incredible, because you got to remember I was fucking 45, you know, older,
and that's a big rush to get if you're not used to it.
But it was all those years of from when I was 18, maybe when I was 16, when I was younger, of always loving comedy and whatever, but not thinking I was worthy to do it, or whatever reason I hadn't. Life takes in different directions, which and it's like, nah, fucking. And that all pent up, I'm sure there was something causing, you know, the crowd would have sensed my sort of, my enthusiasm, but the fact that it had been built up for so long, and, you know, just to let go and do it. And I remember, you know, I don't think I fucked up. Like, I remember being nervous initially, but I think because then when I started, the guy in the fucking little cooking department starts with an electric thing to cut meat for someone. I'm like, man, what are you doing? I'm trying to work here. And I remember getting laughs for that.
Yep.
You know, I'm trying to work here. And I remember not being as phased as I would expect. Like, I know I got heckled a gig 10 gigs later.
Yep.
And it was like, ooh.
Yep.
Whereas this one, I was like, as if I was at my day job, or where somebody come in and gave you some shit. It's like, but dude, what are you doing, man? I'm trying to work here.
And you probably don't know anything yet. So you just roar up there, just going, you know, you can learn bad habits. And that's one thing where people give you advice, and it's like, get good advice, but be careful of the advice you get as well, because you can get really shit advice from a pro or an older comic and believe it and go down a path, or you can get really good advice.
Yeah, well, you're going to get advice, which I'm quite happy to get. But, yeah, you got to pick apart what part of it works well for you. And you know, be accepting if there is something you got to really accept.
Can't even think why I went there. Fucking happy. Now, yeah, I think, like, with the heckling, it's hard here to get trained for it because it doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen much in all 6 years. I don't know how many gigs, 6 years worth. Very rare.
Yeah.
Like, I could, you know, less than 10.
Yeah.
And some of those have been friendly or just crowd involvement ones. And sometimes, you know, you might do a smaller, perhaps dodgier room where some of the patrons there aren't
comedy
so much up for comedy and that. Whereas if you're going to do the lounge, the likelihood of it happening is pretty slim.
Yeah.
Really.
They'll get dragged down.
and you know, in the back of your mind you've got protection. But I've had it at some of them smaller rooms, and I know occasions where it's phased me, and I know, or I hope now that you can be at a level where you take it in your stride, so that you're not going to be offended, or you're not going to be upset, or you're not going to be thrown.
Yeah.
Because I think after you've had enough little things happen, you realise at some point, I can't control what they do. Anyone could say anything anytime. Yeah.
And it's
you got to know that, because it's true.
Just the experience too. The more you do, the lighter you are on your feet, and you can, like, I find that now with crowd work, where it's, if I got heckled, wouldn't just wouldn't faze me because I'm already in that zone to deal with it by doing the crowd work.
Yeah.
You know, but it just takes time. But I was the same in the early. I was like, oh fuck, what if?
Yeah.
What if? And then it's just like, oh, it doesn't really happen. I've got heckled a few times, but I think what protected me was my size. I think people were like, I'm not yelling out at this guy.
Yeah.
He's got a mohawk, or at the time,
Yeah, you'd pick your comedians wisely.
sleeves rolled up, veins sticking out. But yeah, I guess like they're saying, London, places like that can be full on, which is good training. Like that's the thing. I'm not adverse to going to places like that to just go, all right, here's a month of death just to get better and experience it and have, because you have good gigs around it, but it's, you know, chuck yourself in the deep end and, you know, get out of it.
Well, if you learn to master it, it's just another string to your bow.
Yeah.
Isn't it? To get that comfort of being able to do it.
Yeah. And
in all circumstances, because we've all had stinkers that are your own fault, and we've had them that maybe something about the setup of this little room is fault.
Yeah.
Or
the crowd.
or the fact that there's only two people's fault. You know.
What's the word? Have you got one gig that was just the worst? Like fucking, where your soul just got fucking ripped apart by the
I've had a
audience?
few of those.
I've had plenty of those.
Yeah, no, I've had a few, and you think, oh, Jesus, that really did rip my soul apart. And then, you know, you get over it, of course, but then some take longer than, it's like any other sort of heartbreak in life. Depending on how attached you were, it takes, you know, different lengths for you to repair yourself.
And how you deal with it, like that's the shit thing when you look back on those and you go, oh, now I would have just gone boom, boom, boom or whatever. But just that emptiness of, all right, I did a gig the other week where it sucked. Oh, it was a Bucks party. And but no one wanted it. So it got down to me, I think. And they were at the Royal Hotel Richmond, where the strippers, topless waitresses are on a Saturday. It's supposed to be at 1 p.m. And then a couple of days before, the guy organises says, oh, can we organise it for 5:30? I said, oh, no, because you'll be fucking drunk. He's going, no, we're just going to have a few drinks at the Cricketers Arms and then we'll be over.
Yeah, right.
We're a real quiet crowd and all this. And they fucking come in. It was just, I think 1 minute and a half in, I've just gone, all right, we've got 28 and a half minutes left, guys. Let's saddle on in. It was fucking, but the good thing, that was recent, but the way I handled it was like those emotions, like in the early days where you're like, you might freak out and start panicking, or where it's just like, there's nothing I can do here. I couldn't finish a bit. I couldn't even get remotely close to finish it. Someone would just start having a conversation loud enough to go over you.
Oh, yes.
Hey, let's do some more cocaine.
Yeah. No, some crowds aren't conducive to making your job easier.
Oh, fucking horrendous. But then you get the beauties.
Yeah, but you've got to experience it all to hopefully grow and, you know.
What was it? A few months back. At the lounge, you had a fucking cracker.
Yeah, I always like it there. I mean, I think it's probably easier to do it there, and, you know, you might have 300 plus and the room was 20.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had occasions where I've done the smaller room and not so much. And then the lounge is like, it seemed to work there, so I'll be happy with that.
And I think you're a bit more traditional with your comedy, you know, set up punch, stuff like that. Whereas in some of these rooms, and I used to find this, if I was following inner city alternative comedy or whatever, it was, and one after the other, they got trained to laugh at that by them laughing at themselves, or their mates laughing at the back of the room, all those little tricks. But then when you come on with a proper, I used to feel this, it's like, oh, they're freaking out because I'm doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Proper, like, I'm gonna surprise you in a second with the answer. And they'd look at you, oh, you surprised us.
Yeah.
So, just being aware of that, knowing that used to freak me out. I used to hate following. I used to be like, oh, this is going to sound so corny compared to the rambling TED talk we just heard.
Yeah.
But you learn to just go, all right, I got to still practice. I got to deliver. I got to fucking do my work. There's a certain point, whatever years in, where you, all right, fuck them. I got to.
Oh, absolutely.
Got work to do and be professional.
Yeah. You can't get caught up with anything except for what you're, trying to achieve.
And when was your first time performing of any type? Was that
in life?
Yeah. No, on PlayStation. And Sims.
Like there'd be so many, like just if you're going to go back to school ones, I was always, had my hand up if there was any sort of, and our school didn't, I grew up in the bush. We didn't really have sort of a drama course or curriculum about it. But occasionally we'd do a play for, an English thing and we'd do Macbeth or whatever we did. I remember just...
Was that in primary school? That'd be high school.
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, the primary school was more like, right, you're a tree, you're a pond, you're a frog. You guys over there. If it didn't have much going, you're the forest. What do you mean with the forest? We just stand there and go... Whoosh, whoosh. Well, you're not the forest then, you're the wind. It's a... Because the forest is just sitting there.
We didn't have plays in primary school, but kids would do plays. Like they'd write one and then perform it for the class.
Yeah.
And shit but it was a bit of a suck. In my class in grade 6, it became a sucky thing where they were like, oh, Miss J, because we had the coolest teacher at the school. It was our teacher. She'd be like, oh, we've written a play. Can we perform it for the class? And it would eat up like 10 minutes in the morning.
Mm.
So I was like, yeah, have at it. Because I was the mental fucking kid at the school.
No.
And I'd be sitting there in her leather jacket. She was like a biker sort of chick, rock chick. And I'd get in, walk in, grab her leather jacket off her chair, put it on, and I'd wear it the whole day. I was a teacher's pet. I was the worst kid at the school. She fucking loved me.
That's all right.
She's fucking awesome. So these kids would do these plays, and we got along really well because my humour was adult. Like her first report she sent back to the school, from school to my parents in the first semester or whatever, because we hated each other in that first few months. She goes, your 11-year-old knows more about sex, drugs and rock and roll than anyone in the staff room. What are you teaching him at home? And I got fucking bashed, bro. I got killed that night. I got fucking murdered. Every fucking parent teacher night was just that day. I was just like, oh, this is going to be the worst day of my life. And that was the one day I'd start trying.
Yeah, nah.
I'd be like really nice and I'd be doing my work. I'd be like, can I dig out of this hole?
Yeah.
In the fucking
See,
last
you can do
second.
it when you put your mind to it. You can do it when you apply yourself, Justin. You don't have to be like that all the time, do you?
Oh fuck! And and then every time I got one, I think was it that one? I think it was. That one was given to them, a letter. She said, "Don't even bother coming to the school," to my parents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the letter. Your son knows more about sex, drugs, and rock and roll than anyone in the staff. And I got fucking bad. And I'm like, fucking, I watch. And all it was my humor was at an adult level because I watched movies with them. But there was no limit on what I watched. So if they were fucking hilarious movies like Bachelor Party, Flying High, Blazing Saddles, fucking whatever, they didn't cut me off. Even horrors and shit like that. So I looked at things. I was watching adult, so I learned adult. I read the paper. I watched the news. So intellectually, so I'd have humour with the teacher on a different level to the other students. So there'd be something where I'd be pissing myself laughing, and me and her, and no one else would get it. Only an adult, like a dirty joke or something like that. It was pretty weird, the relationship. And then, but this one time, I go, "Oh, Miss J, I've got a play. Can I perform it?" And she's like, yeah, no problem, because I just wanted to kill as long as I could. I grabbed this kid, Craig Ritchie, and we went outside, and there's these trees outside of the primary school at Springy South, and they were a big tree, but the leaves were like weed, You know those trees? If you pluck it, it almost looks identical to a weed plant leaf. So I rolled a heap of them up in fucking...
What, were you in grade 6?
Yeah. I rolled a heap of them up in newspaper and just fucking like 10 of them, and then told him just fucking follow my lead. I went in there for about 20 minutes. I just did everything I knew about drugs and Cheech and Chong.
Yeah, I was going to say, clearly.
And she was just like...
Obviously, Cheech and Chong was something you'd watched.
Yeah, she was just like, what the fuck is this kid? How does he know about all this shit? Like, I was hitting punchlines and because I knew the humour.
Yeah.
Where she was the only one getting it, but she couldn't laugh. She's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, she probably remembers it fondly.
But I think that was my first performance, and it was just purely to kill time in class.
Yeah, I can't pinpoint any, accurate first time, but I remember, and there's been times in life, where I've had to host things or do things prior to comedy, where people sort of got me for that role, which I always enjoyed and always, threw in not bits that you'd rehearse, but bits that would come to you at the time, or just which, it's funny once you're into it now. I got to not remember that skill, but incorporate that into what you're doing as well.
Yeah,
So I said, hopefully you do grow as you go. So you said, I'm pretty structured in that. Well, I've got to learn other parts of the craft as well. You can't just
stick to one. Yeah, these days, because you were very much one-liner, but now you're starting to branch out a bit more.
Yeah, well, and that's cool, though, and that's obviously the direction that my journey's taken, which I don't know if it's consciously or...
But it's actually, Bill Burr went back, like, he went to writing one-liners for a while. I did the same, just to learn to write a fucking joke. Because now when you tell stories, you can litter it with fucking jokes and quality ones. So, but I'd still be doing the one-liners you could But as you know, there's an expiry date on audience, with the audience, how long you can do
and
straight one-liners, no matter how good you are. It wears like, whoa. Yeah,
and even for the performer too, like there's bits I couldn't possibly pull off anymore, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
And like an old buddy, you sort of put them away over there.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time. And
yeah, it's good. And you evolve. See, I've got bits like that where it's like they used to work really good, and I was like, I think I got away with those jokes. They were the jokes that I got away with it for a while. And it's like, whatever I write now is miles away from what I wrote back then.
Well, it's a bit like your previous description of you as a kid rolling joints and things in grade 6 and all these terrible. It might not apply to you so much, but a good analogy might be that, say, when you're 8, the games you're playing with your brothers and sisters, don't you bloody interject. I know what you're going to say. But the games you're playing, you're not happy with the same games when you're 12.
Yep.
So, if you would play Cluedo when you were 8, 9, 10 or whatever, and then by the time you're 12, you've grown out of Cluedo, and now you need to play the game of life or Monopoly or whatever it was you were playing in your neighbourhood at the time. I think it's a bit the same. You can't, you can't keep enjoying the same game. On the side of the box, it even says for ages 3 to 13 or whatever it says. Well, you should get your own little texture on your own little jokes and write them there as you do them.
Yeah.
For ages 1 to 2 of comedy, for ages 3 to 4 of comedy, and on and on and on. So one would hope that if you were around 10 years,
you've got a good catalogue.
Your quality is certainly lifted from when you began.
It is. Do you look back each year going, like, fuck, I'm that much. You've seen your growth?
Sometimes depends how I feel in December. There's been times I haven't. There's been times where I'm like, not too pleased.
Well, every couple, like, you're that much better than you were as a comic.
You fucking hope so.
Than last year and the year before and the year before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I tend to.
Ideally.
I do that a lot. I started doing it probably a year ago or whatever, where I thought I was somewhere, and then I look back a year later going, oh, you idiot. Now you're there.
Yeah.
And then it would happen again and again and again. And then now I've settled in a good place where it's like time is really important. It's just like, as long as I do as much work as I can practice and get better, I've just got to wait. In 2 years, I'm going to be that much better than where I am now. As long as I'm doing practice and writing, performing, and just time. I've just become sort of comfortable with it because you sort of want shit quick. I'm like, I don't care. Just a couple of years.
Of course you do. Of course you do. It's
just
human
enjoy
nature.
the journey. Don't stress. Just fucking
human
relax.
nature to want it quickly.
Yeah.
And so it's a bumpy, funny road.
It's
you
funny.
Have little wayside stops, and you know.
It's funny with like Raw, how everyone. You did a few. Did you do a few Raws?
No,
you didn't do any.
I did one.
I
did one at the lounge. I just remember it was fucking hot. But yeah, I only did the one. Like that was my heat. I did it there. I didn't get through it. I didn't do it any other year.
Yeah, it the way people, and I mean, look, it can jump you, but fuck, being pushed. This is something which the music had helped me with, was being pushed before you're even ready. And that was one big reason why I'd quit Pegasus in the early days in the 90s, was if I'd have got put on tour, I would have got caught out. I couldn't have covered it and made myself sound good. I would have blown my throat out in the first couple of nights, and then it would have been fucking, that's bombing. That's the worst fucking.
Yeah.
When, you know, I've got 28 more nights in a row in front of thousands of fucking people and you can't do it.
Yeah. It's pretty clever.
But that's sort of, at the time though, in Raw, when I first started, I was like, oh, cool, imagine, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, you think your stuff's funny. As you know, your first set, like yours obviously went all right. But mine was funny structurally, but it was just so full on. Like you could see fingernails in the chairs, just going, why is he saying those words? You'd see people looking at each other.
Yeah.
That was at the SU. It was the Fleshlight, which I've done a sort of bit about it.
I've heard most of your bits, so
yeah, it was.
I haven't heard that one for a while.
Yeah, there was. I've gone through a lot of comedy books because of doing the Bendigo gig, which Glenn did. Oh, when was that? August.
Early in August,
July maybe.
Yeah, mid-year, let's say.
I had a great gig back on the home soil. Came triumphant.
Yeah, it was all right, but I said you have those gigs and you know in yourself, and you might sell it, but if you can't completely sell it to yourself, you haven't. Like that gig, to me, there was something lacking. I didn't, that particular day, for whatever reason, I didn't have the necessary confidence to pull off what I wanted to. I got it done.
Yep.
But I didn't.
You could have gone
I didn't
up.
feel it quite enough, and you know, I weren't particularly unhappy, or there wasn't. I can't recall anything right then going on to have disturbed me too much, you know.
No, but sometimes.
But it was just that. That's my memory of that gig.
Yep.
And I'm honest with things. I'm not going to say, yeah, fucking went great. And I've had some where I have just felt in that exact right headspace to do it right, and then you come off from that and you're satisfied.
Well, that's something to train. That mindset. Doing whatever you can to get, I call it going into the zone. And that's what I've sort of been experiencing and luckily I've been experiencing because I've been going backstage, just like, I don't know what's coming out of my mouth. And luckily that gone into that place. But lately I've been delving into that a bit more because as you would have, I've experienced in sport, the exact same thing where you're not thinking, you just fucking bang, 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 you're on.
Yeah.
Just doing, before you know it, you've kicked 3 or 4 goals in a few minutes. I don't know, like what the, you sort of come back to reality. But hitting that on stage is something now, it's the new thing. I've been like, fuck, try clicking that, then adding my material on top of it, being in that mindset.
Yeah.
Sort of, and it's like, cool, rocket fuel, let's fucking go.
Oh yeah, and it's like I'm a pretty shit golfer, and one of the reasons being because
You don't look like a gopher.
you haven't seen me early in the morning. But there's so many different little bits. I remember someone writing me this chart of how to properly hit a golf ball off the tee. Take this, do this, bend this arm, look down here, twist your neck. Don't move your shoulders, move your hips, move your back, bend your knees slightly. 28 different instructions before I've hit the fucking ball.
It'd be probably easy to tell you the opposite.
Yeah, well, I
Just do this.
like with most things, but it's a little similar where you're saying you got to have that part of your mind's got to be right, and you've got to feel adequately good about yourself to be able to deliver what you got to deliver, and you got to feel that believe it or not, that funny self has got to be involved, and and that's not the case every day. So
no, it's hard to switch that. That's what I'm talking about, is that funny self, that I'm a fucking idiot, and when you're on, and you're cracking everyone up around you.
Yeah, that's stuff's not on demand though. Yeah, it's not like.
Well, I think you can train it, and that's,
I'm sure that the best ones do, and I've
we've seen people who were, I was about to say, who were not in the best spot, go on and fucking smash and it was like, hang on, 1 minute ago, what the fuck? How's he doing that?
Yeah, which is a trained repetition thing, and to get to take
because I found
emotion out of, which is a smart thing to do in a lot of your endeavours.
Yeah, and knowing the show's got to go on.
Yeah,
as well. But when you get out there, you don't think about your problems. You don't think about, and that's a big thing. If you got the flu or you crook, you're like, oh, I can't perform. Once you get out there, you're not sick. Yeah. You're like, all right, I'm here kicking ass. Cool, let's go. And then for an hour after, you're feeling all right too, and then it comes back.
Yeah, and you got to train yourself to not be overwhelmed by circumstances you can't control. So if you get yourself to that zone and you're zooming off to the gig, and you got your favourite song on and you're feeling good about it, and you rock on in, and there's 7 people, and they don't look overexcited.
Yeah,
like,
they've been tortured.
And it's 20 minutes till showtime, and you'll bounce around and try to talk people in from the next bar, and go to the next door to the chicken shop and try, come on, you guys look like you like comedy, come in here. It goes well with chicken and chips, come and do whatever you can to add extra people, and you might get a few or whatever, but you've got to keep your level of enthusiasm and pre-performance angst ready, because if you drop the bundle, which I do,
it gets to you. Yeah.
And not visibly, maybe I could be talking to you and having a sweet, a close buddy, I might say, fuck, I was hoping for more, or whatever. You've got to channel that stuff inside to be able to, okay, well, expect that. And then if you get, doesn't mean you've got to go in expecting the worst, but you've got to have it so that you're prepared and ready for anything, and you might get pleasantly surprised. There might be 80 people in there all excited and ready to fucking rock.
Yep. Well, it's true. You got to perform, and I've done that where there's 2 and you're giving them fuck all, and you're just like, meh. Back in the earlier days. Now I don't mind. I've learned. America taught me that, where it's like, cool, I'll make you laugh, and just making you laugh. That's it. That's all your fucking job is. And I talk on the podcast a bit about when I do the ticket table to table at the lounge. Especially when I'm not, if I'm not on stage that night, so I've just got to go cold to the first table, like, hi.
Yeah.
Boo. But I approach it from all right, I'm going to make these fuckers laugh their ass off, and then go at them.
Yeah.
And then I go to the next table, word up, homies, boom, into them, and just be an absolute idiot table to table and do the job. But it's practice, it's training, and I don't look like an arsehole just going, do you want this? It's like, cool.
Sure.
If not, I'm going to leave you with a laugh. Either way, I'm going to make you laugh.
Yeah,
pick on you, roast you.
It's a great opportunity, and that's and that's no different to working in the ice cream stand down at the beach.
Yeah,
the people are coming along and you roast them, or you're doing whatever you want.
And it is a big thing, and that Pommy, I'm sure you've heard it, where Pommy's advice in comedy is just be funny. That's it. And
I've heard that one before.
you hear a few people, and if you hear a few people copy it going, oh, just be funny. But there's nothing meant, like, how? What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean just be funny? And then after gigging with Pommy a few times and watching him backstage at the lounge in the green room, and I actually noticed it the other night, Paulie on the bar there goes, oh, Pommy was pissing me off last night. He's just acting like a fucking idiot. And I'm like, what happened? And he goes, oh, he came out a bit early. He was goofing around a little bit. And then, he went backstage and then he come back a little bit later and then he's been a bigger idiot, fucking making everyone laugh the bar. Like, it was just a bit distracting or whatever his reason. And then he goes back and then just before he goes on, he comes back to the bar and he's just full scale mental. And everyone's laughing. He's fucking stupid. And I'm like, yeah, that's what he does. That's how he gets ready to go on stage. Comes back, makes his mates laugh, goes backstage, talks himself up, boom. So then when he goes on stage, he's being funny.
Yeah.
He's in that zone. The biggest dickhead Glen Zen is walking on stage, right? The dickhead me's here. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. No rules. And you're sharper and you're boom and you're relaxed. And I think and he does that, and I've caught him in the mirror, fucking talking to him a few times, and he gets himself into that place. I was like, that's what he means. Be that guy at the party growing up where everyone's like, you should be a comedian.
Yeah.
You can take him on stage. The difference is you got jokes underneath that character, that idiot has real, all right.
And it might be
it's just even a bigger tidal wave.
It might be as simple and as hard as just simply that fact. And, so I've listened to various podcasts and things, and a comedian mate put me onto these things where they ask, say, Jerry Seinfeld questions, and they ask him, and he goes, you just got to go out there and be yourself.
Yeah. But it shits you because you want that.
But then he
people
says,
want this answer.
now if I could tell you how to do that, I wouldn't be sitting here. Like, it is that simple.
And everyone's...
And difficult all at once, because what version of yourself, how many selves, all the different
do you
questions.
know yourself?
To
go, here's a version of me. I've been fake the whole time.
Yeah, and every individual's got a different answer.
Yeah.
And then for you as the individual, well, then you need to search your answer or answers or on a particular given day what they are. And you're like, well, okay, I'll go out and be myself. Okay, is that the self that used to work in that little petrol station and be nice to people when they come in and crack a few funnies, that self? Or which version? How are you going to... And then, like I said, how do you warm yourself into that to get yourself into that zone?
Which shadow?
Yeah, because I know I've captured it, certainly at certain gigs here and there over a 6-year span, but I don't know about regularly, and it's had times where I couldn't get to that and I knew it. And that's one of the worst things that can happen on stage is when you can almost see yourself not being the character.
Yeah. That happened, I did, what did I do? Somewhere the other night and it wasn't there, but I had a good gig. I did crowd work. It wasn't no dip, but it was the drug rush, the adrenaline, little kick that you get. Didn't come along with it. I was like, fuck. And I wasn't, because it is more hype. You're hyped up. It's a wonderful feeling when you're in that sort of place. So, it's a bit of that drug rush that wasn't there. It's, but I think, it is possible. You've just got to keep searching for the way to unlock it, whatever it is. Yeah. Who knows what Tommy's doing in the toilet before he comes out. It'd be fucking funny.
I don't know him that well to guess.
Now, you grew up in Bendigo, Glen Zen, and later joined the circus.
Yeah. That's pretty much how I left Bendigo, yeah.
What age?
Oh, I must have been about 22.
22. Just went, fuck this. I like the look of those inbred people over there with animals. Oh, it's the carnival. No, I like all them I like elephants and shit. I'm out of here. What made you do it?
Oh, it was just a series of events that led to that opportunity being presented that I found hard or impossible to refuse. It was like, I think every little kid wants to sort of run away with the circus, and partly now looking back on it then. And so 22, I thought, well, like if I was telling the story and said I was 18, I'd think 18, you're a kid. But by 22, I'd lived plenty between 16 and 22 that I certainly thought I was reasonably grown up. I was probably still a boy, but, you know, looking back on it, I still think that in a fashion, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And it was, that whole experience would have changed me from a boy, I think, to a man, because, you know, it's a pretty rough sort of different year. You actually, you're on the run, but I think, you know, no one's chasing me but yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you and I learned that from it. You can't run away from yourself.
Yeah.
You can run a long way.
I did
can
that.
Run. And maybe it's every person's thing to try it at some point, but you can't.
I do that a lot.
Said you can try. There's lots of distractions. There's lots of things in place for it. The whole world, I won't get into those sort of big conspiracy theories, but the whole world's based on it.
Yeah.
On you needing to, you know, not know who you are.
And what did you do in the circus? What was your main role?
Well, it was the Great Moscow, so it was, you know.
Oh, sick. So
it was a big
one.
little backyard job. It was full on, like the tent, I think, held 5,000 people. So town to town you'd go, and everyone at the town was a labourer. Didn't matter what you did. Once that tent was going up, any hands were used. So, yeah, you'd find a suitable, or they'd find something suitable for your skill level.
Yep.
Be it hammering in tent pegs or whatever it was you did. And it was amazing to watch, you know, once you got good at it. And I'm not a naturally gifted person, you know, with tools and all that shit. But you learn the little techniques, and you have other people I'd be like, oh, mate, you tie the knot, because they could go whoosh, whoosh. Whereas I'd be like, oh, what bit goes through where? No, I'm not going to be responsible for this knot that holds up this trapeze that might save a dude's life if the net doesn't hold him later on when his triple flip doesn't fucking work and the catcher doesn't catch it. I know I'd be sitting there thinking, shit.
On the run again.
Where am I going to go?
Where's the carnival?
Where can I go? I don't want to be a carny. But so, yeah, everyone sets up, and then, of course, everyone pulls down. But then during the show, they had 6 of us. And we were ring waiters or ring boys, whatever, you know, you wanted to call us. And they dressed us up. I actually was going through some stuff at home and a photo fell out of it. They had these little sort of, not bright red, like a dull red, sort of heading towards orange, with a little grey shirt and a bow tie and a little, you know, vest and pants. And we were, ring waiters or boys, and we basically set up the props.
Yep.
So in between the acts, you know, the trapeze would go off. We'd
set
take
everything
the thing down
where it's got to set.
As the clowns were doing their thing, because their job is to distract the audience from the fact that this is going on. So we're meant to be sort of not seen but not heard, like not seen or heard.
Yeah.
Like just get in there,
in the background.
do what you got to do. And the clowns are supposed to be that good. They do their job. By the next time you look around, ta-da, ready for the next performance. The dude walking on glass or whatever's happening. So we do that, but me and a guy who I called Carrot in the show, like we always would work together. So we'd have our little routines for stuff during the show, which the clown fucking hated, man. Like we'd
getting any attention.
Well, half time we'd go back in there and he'd like push us against the wall. There was a short clown, short, fat and mean, and a big, tall, skinny one who was busted. And I don't know what he did to him, but the big one looked very scared. It's like,
Scared of the little one.
You ever seen somebody in the like tamed a stray dog, or they've got the dog, and when they lift the arm, the dog looks nervous?
Yeah.
Because he's been belted that many fucking times. Well, this tall clown had that same look with this angry little clown. So he'd sort of get me and Carrot, push it out the back, and he'd be like, "Yeah, sure, first of all, little prick." Like all this Russian, which we didn't understand, but we knew he wasn't.
Oh, so they're real Russian.
Oh, fuck yeah. But we knew he wasn't happy. But we continued to do, and sometimes, seriously, we'd get better laughs than him. Like, we'd have our little thing where he'd hit us and we'd go flying out of the ring, like, which he didn't want, but it would draw the attention to us.
Yeah.
Or we'd, go through the middle of something with these stupid looks on our faces, and we were playing up with whatever feeling we wanted to elicit from the, crowd, and we'd do all that. And it was just wild how upset he would get. But then later on you think, well, this dude's fucking come over from Russia. He's trying to get a living, and these two pieces of shit, young Aussie fucking boys
Stealing his
are
life.
trying to, and doing all right at it. But we loved it, like the adrenaline and the rush of that, as well as physically working hard because we had a lot of work to do.
And how long did you do that for?
Well, about a year.
Yeah. And what was the best thing you saw?
The best thing I saw.
The best part of it. Sorry, we've got a bit of noise in the background from outside here.
Yeah, that's weird because it sounds like it's sort of we're on a street corner sucking down lattes or something.
It's
And
the amplification.
that's all right. I don't mind it. I hadn't noticed it until you brought it up. The best thing, I saw a few best things, and people, like I said, it sounds outlandish and might be hard to believe. One I still remember as being funny. We were in somewhere like Mackay up north, and there's been floods, and it was all. We had to actually, I think, move our location from the entertainment centre where we were to the footy oval next door, which had held up better in the water. But then it wasn't good for the trucks and everyone driving in. Just you can imagine mud and floods and water. I remember something happened, and there'd always be a team of guys around an area working. I remember there was a guy renting, and he was an older dude, probably in his 60s at the time, and he used to repair, like that was his job, was to repair the tent. So if anything happened, he was the patchwork master. So he'd go up there and do a little patch, leak proof or whatever. And his whole family were there. And that was, he'd been with the circus for years. But I remember him standing, I can't remember the exact detail, but we were all standing there, and he was like next to the forklift and the mud and whatever, and the forklift just tipped sideways on top of him.
Oh, shit. Into the mud?
He was in the mud. So,
fuck.
But I still can remember just his hands and legs like wiggling under it, like, his head was in the mud, so he couldn't hear what he was saying, but he was trying. And just this big boss of the whole thing comes along, and he's like, looked at us all and said, "You blokes, you want to get that forklift off him?" It's just the way he said it, and the way like we picked it up, and there he was squirming like a squash bug. Flipped him over, dusted him off, and all right, back to work. Nothing to see here.
Fuck.
That was one, and there was another one which we had bears. And there was a guy called Wayne who was his job. He was the bear watchman. He didn't touch any tools. He didn't do anything else. He drove around with the bears, so he was 24-hour bear watch. Now, during the day when there's everyone up in the bear trains and out there, you get a nap. But during the night, like, of course, we were all young boys, we'd go out.
Yeah.
So we'd be in Lismore, we'd finish work at 7 o'clock, usually be hungry because we'd missed dinner or the dinner was that bad. We'd go out on the premise having something to eat, maybe a few games of pool, just do what young blokes do, go to a pub and whatever.
Look around.
Oh, it was fantastic. And where was I going with this story? What did it start on?
Awesome thing you saw.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Wayne the Bear Man. So, and we'd quite often, and I was, tried to be reasonably sensible because the work was hard. But you come home whenever you were, and pissed or not pissed, whatever you were, you'd walk through the tent because you knew Wayno was up. He wasn't a bad bloke. He was a bit older than us. He was tougher. Looking back on it, he probably smoked weed and just sat there all night and waited, if you heard any noise, you had to investigate. No one was getting the bears or the bears are okay. But so us idiots had come through. It was probably, he didn't really show us with his words, but it was probably the highlight of his night, some people to talk to. And it would normally end with him telling a few of us to fuck off or don't go too close to that cage or whatever. Because in every town you'd pick up workers who may last a week, who may last a day or whatever. So you always turn over. I think only 6 of us made it from the start of the tour till the end. And I still remember, I think it was Lismore, and this guy called Pete came in. We're all going back to our vans, hammered, 1 a.m. Carrying on. He's like, "Get away from that cage, mate. Don't go too close to that cage." And this dickhead puts his hand up onto the cage where the bear was in. And like lightning, the big bear's just gone and grabbed his fucking finger. Now, I don't know if he bit it off or pulled it off or what he did, but he fucking ripped this guy's finger off. And that certainly remains a very big highlight. Just hearing this idiot scream. And Wayne, who was a pretty cool customer, who, like I said, wore sunnies at night, and now I should have known better, he was a weed smoker, sit there with his arms crossed. It's like, "Well, I fucking told you, dickhead. Don't go near the fuck." See, he was an Aussie bloke.
Fuck.
Had his little ute with all his setup. He wasn't sort of part of the circus in his own department, bear watch. Told you, don't go near the fucking cage, dickhead, didn't you? And this fucking tall, skinny poodles, fucking screaming, looking for his finger, whatever. Told you, mate, don't go near the fucking. That was probably that and the forklift one.
Fucking hell.
And if I was to sit and try to think, there's so many little.
Could you go on
adventures.
like monkeys and shit like that? can you just go play with them?
Well, if I got like a license.
No, but like in the circus, can you just go over to the monkey guy and go, hey, can I hang out with fucking Brutus over there? Because monkeys are cute, man.
Oh, well, depend on, the bears are a bit,
Bit angry, those fuckers.
they didn't like us hanging around them too much.
Yeah.
Although once I think it might have been Lismore as well, and it might have been to do with the Peter incident. We were all outside, next to the tent, just hanging around, putting up piles, doing our circus stuff. And the tent flap pushed open, and this baby bear just went wee, 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 all the way home and fucks off. So next thing, out come all the Russian bear trainers, everyone, the doctor, half the circus, and just see this little bear heading up the road into like the forest in Lismore. So he fucks off, there's a big thing. Next thing, I think the news and that were coming around. So we all went up the road, we've got to go look for this thing. And they got in, it was in a bush, and this big Russian female bear trainer just jumped in on top of it, grabs him out, just pulls him out by the leg, gets him out the back, and then turned him around, wiggled her finger at him and talk to him in Russian, turned him around and smacked his little bum about 3 times like a little baby. And then you could see the look on his face like, I know, I fucked up. What was I thinking? I'm not even from Australia. I don't know where I'm going. I got no money. Like, where was I going to go? And she's got his little hand and just walked him back to camp. And seriously,
that's wicked.
No different to a kid. The way she jumped in the bush, like none of the big males were jumping in because this thing's still a wild animal. But she must have been one that reared it or whatever because she straight on it, grabbed him out and just like the way she smacked him. And
like, you're in trouble, kid.
Oh, yeah, he was in strife. He knew it.
What about fucked up shit? Anything really fucked up on a circus? On the circus circuit?
There'd be nothing I'd be willing to disclose because then people, they're like the elephants. Once they remember something, they remember it for life. They'll hunt you down and kill you and your family. I'm not going. It's a bit like mafia. I'm not going against the circus.
We'll have a joint after off air, and I love hearing fucking weird stories from
circus
different
stories.
jobs. I remember when I got my ear ripped open. I was in hospital, and I was getting it glued back together. This is about 15 years ago or something. And I was talking to the doctor, Asian dude. I'm like, I was trying to distract myself because I didn't know what gluing was. I didn't know. It was literally, all they did was pour super glue in my ear.
Yeah.
And then just hold it there. I'm like, oh, that's all right. No fucking stitches. But it was pissing out a lot of blood. I go, what's the most fucked up thing you've seen as a doctor? He goes, when I was in Adelaide, I was working in the late night thing at the hospital, and this guy come walking in with a gym bag, an old leather 70s, 80s gym bag, and he comes walking up to the nurse's station and goes, I really need to see a doctor. And the lady goes, what's wrong? He goes, I can't tell you. I just need to see a doctor now. She's gone, look, seriously, I need to know to admit you and all this. He's gone, I need to see a doctor. And he goes, I was there. So I said, look, okay, mate, I'll come on through. I could tell he was really in distress. Took him in. He goes, now what's wrong? And he goes, I don't want to say. And he's gone, mate, you're in the hospital now. Okay, if something's wrong, you got to tell me. He's gone, is it something to do with the bag? He's gone, yeah, and he unzipped the bag and there was a dead cat in the bag, but his dick was in a hole through the bag. And then it got rigor mortis and held on to it, so he couldn't get the cat off his dick.
What was the cat doing on his dick?
He was fucking it. And it died and got rigor mortis. And he goes, I took one look at it. He goes, I'll be back in 1 second. And he goes, I closed the curtains. And he goes, I fell to the ground laughing. Not in a real, he goes, what do I call the RSPCA? Because they'll cut his cock off.
Fucking hell.
Or do I call his fucking doc, get one of the surgeons?
He's fucked a cat to death and he's got it.
And they've got to cut the cat off his dick. Yeah, they ended up having to cut the cat off his dick.
Oh, man.
It was killing him. But that's fucking Adelaide for you. I was there on Sunday. The UFC.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and sport, growing up, you had footy. You played a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, I was a bit of an all-rounder in most sports. Like, I love sport. So I'd play footy, I'd play cricket until I got like to the point where I didn't like cricket anymore. So I joined baseball, played a fair bit of volleyball, played a lot of tennis. We had courts just up the road where we grew up. So summer,
How good was that growing up, though? Like, everyone did sport.
Well, you
just knew there was a game on at some park. You could just go and play something.
We had a court, and so not much traffic. Hardly any cars would come up. Occasionally, but rare.
But kids around to fill it.
Yeah. There's 4 or 5 houses full of kids. So summer, cricket game every day, all day, every day.
So we had Springy South Primary 4 doors away. And we had the Slocums across the road who were they were big sporting family as well. I was the youngest, so we'd go to the school, but then every kid from the area would just converge at the primary school. We'd have fucking huge cricket games, footy games, Fuck, it was good. You would not see that shit again. They'd be sucking on fucking Rexona cans.
Yeah, you don't know, maybe in some
knackers.
Some of those little bush country towns, hopefully they still have it to a degree. But I was from a small place, but there was always something to do. And I remember we'd go to school extra early because there was always a cricket game on before school. Yeah. In the quadrangle of school. And I remember what an achievement it was if you could get yourself in by either, taking a catch or, I don't know, I think you ended up getting the ball and whoever got it bowled it.
Got it.
If you got someone out, you were in, and pretty jungle sort of rules.
What year did you leave? Oh, bless you. Gesundheit.
I didn't see that one coming. When did I leave? Where?
School. What year?
How old was I?
Did you do it? The whole thing?
Yeah.
Fucking nerd.
Does that mean the interview's over?
Mate,
am I out?
Give me your lunch money.
Your whole look on your face has changed.
Do you remember? Here's something at school. 4 and 20. Remember they made donuts? Oh, jeez. Even just mentioning them was making my mouth water like that. They had chocolate jam donuts and normal jam donuts. You could get them at the footy. You could get them at servos.
I've heard of them.
Oh, they were good. And they disappear. I just want someone to
I reckon you still be able to get them.
No, you can't.
What about a supermarket?
You just can't get 4 and 20. They only make pies and shit.
No, I think they've brought them back.
Oh, no. No way.
I saw, actually on the way here, I saw something. I thought, it's not a bad day for a donut. I might grab something. And I thought, nah, I can't see Flemo liking them. I don't want to.
Actually, I think I'm down for donut day today.
Yeah, no,
because it's such a nice fucking day. I've got to.
No, we had a big famous local bakery. That's where all our childhood stuff came from.
Yep. Oh, which one?
Gillies.
I went to one when I was doing those gigs up the country. I think it was just out. Is Beechworth just out of Bendigo?
I think it's like a farmhouse looking place called the Beach House Bakery. It's actually in Bendigo. In Golden Square. It's the one I'm thinking of. I often stop there. It's a pretty big, impressive place. A lot of muffins, cakes, desserts. Is that the place?
Muff. No, it was just going out of Bendigo from California Gully. No.
Yeah, Beechworth Bakery or something.
Okay, yep, that is the one there.
Near like car yards and that sort of part of town.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah, we went there a few times because we were getting wagon wheels.
They're not bad. Homemade wagon wheel.
Yeah, because all through the country you get homemade wagon wheels, and we were going to do this thing where we had to find the best wagon wheel.
They're thicker than the average wagon wheel.
Hey? Thicker. They are. See, the average one used to be thick and fucking big and girthy and round. It had vascularity involved. It didn't fuck around, Glen Zen.
It's almost juicy.
There was no fucking around. And now you look at it, it's like it's fucking anorexic fucking sister.
It's like a fucking Frisbee.
It's bullshit, right?
Little thin chocolate Frisbee.
It's fucking bullshit. But then when you go to the country ones, they're not as big. Like, you remember the old ones were fucking face round.
Not big as your head.
Yeah. Whereas the country ones aren't that. But yeah, some of them are rich as fuck. But
it's hard to get a good one.
It was good. We'll go in every country town. You got a wagon wheel? Cool. Give us a go. Let's put you up to the test.
Yeah.
Mega fucking rich. Yeah, I'm going to fucking get some doughies on the way out now.
Oh, you've inspired yourself?
I'm fucking down with the hood.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought that far ahead.
I'll be burning calories the next 2 days. Laying some cables. It's going to be fucking spiffy. So what, 2019, Glenn, what is going to happen? What's going to happen for Glenneth McZeneth, stand-up comedian? Are you going to look at doing a festival show and shit?
I did one a few years back, like I shared one with someone, and the answer is no, I haven't got my shit together to do it this year. I saw I got an email about it. And
yeah.
Too late. And I think I enjoyed the other one. It was all right. But then being at a level where, like, I don't know, I don't have, like, where to get a good room and how you go about that process of. That's what stopped me. I'm not at the level where I can, go into some joint and say. And I remember a few years ago, I applied to various rooms and didn't even hear back.
Yeah.
Which learnt to handle that sort of level of rejection in the field. But it's just like, well, for the work involved and the money involved and everything else involved to make it happen, I think it's a great thing, and I generally take time off work so I can go watch a few shows and that. Yeah. And last year, so I opened for a few people.
Yep.
Just by sort of putting the word out, and you go to gigs prior to that, and then you talk to your buddies on the scene, and they might say they're doing a show, and do you want to open? You either get offered or you can put it out there. However it comes about, but I ended up doing quite a few little different ones here and there, which was fantastic.
It is good because you can come out of the festival stronger even if you haven't got a show on.
Yeah,
I did that. I was opening for Brett for a couple of weeks. Popping up here, there, Exford Lounge, different gigs, but it turned out I got a lot more gigs that month than I normally would bother getting.
Yeah, if you put yourself in the right positions, I think they're out there. And like I met some nice people I hadn't previously met.
Yeah.
Made connections there, and then, got a few little, like I said, you arrive at the place and they might have only been smallish sort of setups, but, for your total lack of involvement or you haven't set nothing up.
Yeah.
So this other poor bugger has, and if he's willing to give you a spot for a half decent audience, well, that's good. And I haven't really given it enough thought. And it's what is it, March, late March?
Oh yeah, late March. But obviously this year's done. But then the following year, because that's when I did the same thing, and then it was like,
2020's got a good ring to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, I was like, fuck, I haven't. I went to look at the enrollment and it ran out the day before.
Yeah, they normally extend it. I think I saw the email of it being over, and then I saw the.
Oh, they did. But
like I also steak knife ads. Plus, if you join now, like they get you in. And I think it's a good thing. I certainly wouldn't criticise it, but it's just more. One, the procedure is quite complex to get through it all, and like I said, then the other part where I don't have the necessary networks or whatever to be able to, the one we did at the Brunny, because the Brunny, you can have the room, didn't cost us anything, but then you're out of the circle. I think if you're going to do the festival, you've got to be in that radius.
Yeah, you want to be in the
town hall somewhere, so that foot traffic's going to see your sign or however they hear about it. You might be one of them rooms where there's a 7 o'clock show, 8 o'clock show, 9 o'clock show, 10 o'clock show. So there's people moving around. Like I went and saw one at Lygon Street, the corner up in sort of Carlton. It's the corner of Lygon and Victoria. Trades hall or something. It's like there's 20 different rooms. And a little bit of a foyer there where you can buy a beer, and they're jazzed up with a few of those nice lights and dancing fairies and all that pretty stuff. And they got all that. And it was great. I thought, well, this would be a great spot. They had various sized rooms. I saw some good acts there. And I thought, how's a guy like? And I'm not calling sour grapes. I'm just like, well, I don't know how to
apply.
To get myself in there, because that's where I'd like to be.
Yeah,
but I don't know how. I should ask. I should ask.
Well, that's the thing.
I went to see how did you get here, but then I think he has management.
Well, I'm thinking. So for the following year, it gives me a year and a half to write, but learn all that shit. It's cool. I can find out this festival, ask everyone. So next year I know in August, get it all planned.
Oh, yeah. You
make sure I've got the show ready. I'll have a show ready in.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't think it's the sort of thing you can do on a whim.
Yeah. And I'm the type where
if you do, you'll suffer. Whereas you should be planning it, the management side of it and the material side of it well in advance. So it's probably clever to now start thinking of 2020.
Yeah.
So I thought, I could probably push and put. I thought, well, I put the application in, and then that'll force me to, you know, get my shit together in the other areas, and then well, no, I don't want to set up and not have a venue. I don't want to, you know,
be stressed out. Yeah.
You know, at the moment,
it is
do
stressful.
I think I can build the show? I'm, you know, lost a bit of mojo lately. I'm not feeling it. Can I? Yeah. And then, you know, do I want to have a gun at my head between now and March? Because, like I said earlier, once it grabs a hold of you, it grabs a hold of you. So if you know it's on, I've had a bit of experience with it, just sort of open for people, and I did my own in Brunswick, which sort of doesn't count. It was just 20 nights in a row at the Brunny, but we fucking
20
learned a lot.
That's the thing. That's what it's about.
It.
You can go into it going, I want to make, you know, you write a brilliant festival show and you try and make it or whatever, or make some impact, or go into it as training.
Well, I remember, I don't know what I was thinking going into it, as in
that's good
to achieve, but I know that at the end, what I'd set out to do, and I was doing like 25 to half hour, it was like, well, my finishing set is nothing at all like my opening.
Yeah.
Because I remember distinctly on night 6 or 7, and we weren't getting many people. It wasn't, a few nights we'd have a few, but I was just getting so sick of saying the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
And some of it I realised, this is fucking lame, it's got to go.
Yeah.
Because I heard it so many times. Maybe it was a novelty for me hearing it once a week at gigs prior or whatever, where I was like, what? I'm trailing this shit out? And I sort of had one of those.
That's good.
Like I sort of snapped a
moments.
bit where I was like, I can't fucking. And then there was that breakthrough momentary bit where I went on stage and just did stuff I hadn't been brave enough to say, or things I'd thought, and not structured it fully and built it as I went. And some of it had good results. You know, I was like, oh, right. Which I constantly have and will continue to tell myself, just be braver than just, you know, put myself in there. Yeah. Whereas if you told me a few months prior that that's what I'd do, I would have said, oh, no fucking way, I'm Mr. Structure over here. I'm not fucking doing that. No, I'll shit myself. You know? And now it's funny because those jokes I remember breaking through with then are the exact same jokes that I've probably been carting around that I'm sick of now that I built there. So it's, you know, I've zigzagged up to there. Now I've got to go to the next bit where I leave these behind and go to the next little gold mine.
Yeah. It's funny, you do evolve.
Oh, I suppose just another bronze mine. But, you know, go to, so that's ideally how it plays out. So, like I said, just thinking of it now, I remember how I felt that festival. I remember how nervous I was. I remember how I tried to be so organised to do things. And, like, I had a sidekick, but he didn't do any of the organising, so I did all that, and, you know, even to do the door and all that. You know, and in hindsight, like you know, you write down all your thing when you sign up, and, well, I don't fucking have any idea what I'm going to charge from me. Like, I don't know if we have a time again, and I think midway through we just started doing that. It's just like, post what you want. There's a bucket at the end. I think when you're a nobody, you've got to do that. If you can't, I don't know how you can just decide, right, I'm worth $29.99.
That's,
or, you know, something like that.
And a lot of them aren't. Like, as you know, there's
or even $12.99. Like, it doesn't matter.
There's a lot of $5 comedians in that festival because anyone can do the festival. There's some who should be definitely bucket only. Obviously, you want to make your money back, but as you know, there's people in there where it's like, hey, you just started doing comedy in September. You heard everyone talking about festival, so you went and enrolled with them. And you've never done, like, you've only done 3 gigs before. I mean, there was some people who only, their first gig was the comedy festival, their festival show. And now they're signed.
That you're a $5 comedian doing a $15 gig.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, that's that thing. You got to know where you're really at. And there's I think we're on a maturity, an age level where you know where you're at. You know, you do get a bit dilute, like, it's hard to look at it, but, you know, we're not, there's people there that have no jokes, they're brand new, they just have no reason to be doing a comedy festival show after 3 months in the comedy scene. They don't know what they're doing, and then they're charging and they're ripping the audience off, and then you've got to compete with 300 of them in amongst it for the crowd. And, you know,
that's it too. There's elements of it where I don't know what my target audience is or anything like that. But there's people who do go to the shows who go and see the same people each year. And I love it that there's people out there who will try their luck on an unknown. And I know that happens, and it's, if you can attach yourself to the right room, once again, the right room, or with the right performers on it, so they might be coming out of seeing Adam Hills.
Yeah.
But walk past your poster, or there's that, or, you're going to get, I said that place in Logan Street was ideal for that, because I think I actually ended up popping my head into a show I wasn't going to go to, but I saw the person on the stairs or something and had a bit of time to burn, or, got my times wrong for a different show. I was like, oh, well, I will pop in there.
That's the problem, as you know, and I don't know much about it, neither do you really, I guess, with getting the comedy room that goes on the board, like the comedy festival room, because then you get on the board.
Festival managed venue.
Venues, and then it's like
an FMV.
Yeah, you've got to suck up to whoever to get onto that or pay whatever, and then you got to pay more because they've got to take more from you.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's just the whole structure of the thing's a bit weird, but as a training tool, and I think when you're ready, because I was going to go this year or for next year, and I thought, if I don't write, because what the stress is, I don't want to rock up, because like Akmal was saying to me, you got to do a festival show about porno. Because people will it'll sell out, promise you. Every time I see him, all right, you're doing your festival show, I'll help you with it, blah, blah, blah. You got to do it about porno. And I'm like, no. Because I don't want to be crap. I don't want to cross that line. But I thought, fuck it, a year and a half. And I also said to him, I want it to kill. If I do a festival show, I want it to be like my stand-up set at a club where I'm just smack, 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 smack. He's going, no, you don't want that. You want to take them on a journey and talking to them like, no, I want to go. I'm a stand-up comedian. I don't give a fuck about that shit. In a year and a half, I should be able to, on that subject of porn, be able to write a year and a half. I should be able to have it as punchy as my, there's a lot of stories there, so it's not going to be just rapid fire.
But it doesn't have to be a solid hour on porno just because it's called that. Like you can.
No, but I can literally do it because of the experiences and stuff like that. But no, it doesn't have to be on that one subject. But I just wanted to, and I thought I didn't want it to come off crass. Like if there was any women, like where there's that fine line with me too. But I seem to always
You didn't want it to come off crass?
Hey? I don't want it to come off crass.
A show about porn?
Yeah. I want it to still be, I don't want it to be just cheap, shitty.
Classy porn.
Yeah. I want the humour to be fucking good humour. I don't want it to be fucking just easy, shitty porn, dirty jokes or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't want people leaving going, that was a bit crap. Because, I can end up on that line. And I managed to fall on the right side of it.
I've seen you dance on both sides of the fence. I think.
And I pretty much, I don't get complaints, and I seem to get away with it through whatever reason. But yeah, that's an important thing. I don't want to be hacky, and I don't want to be crass. I don't mind my stand-up set, like if I'm doing a late show, being as fucking filthy as possible, because it's fucking great fun, and I enjoy my stand-up set being that. But no, if I did a festival, because you got couples coming, you got people who might, but I was also thinking I'll do shit like give away dildos, make it, get a sponsor Club X or something like that, and just give away toys or something like that. Maybe
get Sexyland
free condoms,
on board.
Yeah, something like that, and get a bit of a sponsorship, get a free toy after every show for someone under. It's under your seat. No, not under it. You should literally feel it in you. If you can feel a dildo in you right now, you won it.
It's yours.
Just turn to the left and it will turn it on. All right.
But yeah, I think that's what smart people would be doing, would be starting to think about it already. Don't worry about next year's, but motor towards it. And it's the same thing if you're writing to do a whole new show. Okay, you're going out each week and trying new bits to put together, put into it. But it's a long sort of wait to, like, is it just, you just do the material that you've been bouncing around anyway and you try to formulate it into something that sounds like it could have a topic? or like because basically you just want to do an hour of your best gear.
Yeah, well,
and make them laugh. So then, do I have to call it porno? Do I have to call it?
Well, that was
circus
my
tales. Like
that was my.
You're going to have
thing.
a bit on it, or you're going to have a section on it, or maybe some callbacks and stuff. But you know what I mean? Like any hour of comedy.
With some people, it is that where, and that's what I thought I could just do my stand-up set.
Yeah, like they might have.
Because I can get lazy in 3 months. If I'm doing a festival show by the 4th month, I'll be like, I can't be bothered doing this show now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you're writing just for the show, or are you writing the jokes that would have evolved out of you anyway if you weren't doing the show? So
yeah,
like I said,
specifics.
if the body of material that you've built in the last 12 months, which is logical, becomes your show.
Yeah.
Like I said, but I don't know if I could set into it saying, right, I need, or maybe I could, but I need to write an hour on this particular
subject,
say, the circus or whatever. I think I would find that hard to go through the process of sitting. Whereas if I was just talking with a mate and recalling all old stories I might remember about Peter and the bear and the finger or whatever, or I'm like, hey, what about that time that happened? Oh, yeah, and the thing split and all the water come down. But then you'd hope that combined with your comedic skills, you could turn it into something funny. But I don't know that I'm a great
they're funny stories.
Storyteller.
No, but you were telling a good story there, and all you do is you just put in your structure. Where can I insert some laughs? I need to insert some laughs here, blah, 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 blah. And then, there's a solid bit anyway. That's how I structure my
which you've done in your life when you're telling a story or whatever, and you you've got the audience. Yeah. In your family Christmas or whatever. And you're like, yeah. And then you might string them along a bit, or you might take them that way.
Yeah.
Which is the natural birth or progression of someone who's got comedy in them.
Yeah. And that's my favorite. That is my favourite thing, is drawing them down that line and then just smacking them around the head going, hey, you didn't see that motherfucker?
Yeah, well, I find now in those situations where pre-comedy you would have done or said something funny, and then you find yourself in a similar situation. Say, let's use Family Christmas as an example. So you've increased your skill set as a comic, but then you're not going to be wanky sitting at the table coming across trying to do a set for your family. Yeah. So you're the same old self you've always been, but then you're better. So sometimes, and you got to be careful, but if your little niece or someone says something, well, you can't just destroy it because you're now better with the skill of and top their bit. If somebody else, and you don't want to come across.
He's trying
I'm the king of the comedy.
Trying to get a laugh.
You got to run your script by me.
Yeah.
You'd hope that everyone can just still be as silly as they were. And if somebody else gets in, like I said, you don't want to be running around topping your nieces and fucking putting a punch on back of there when they get a few little giggles from their little mates and cousins they only see once a year.
Listen to me.
Trip them over and top their bit, and they might have been an aspiring comedian, and you've just destroyed them.
Crushed them. Got rid of that hope.
Yep. Probably the best thing you could ever do for them.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Their mental fucking health.
Mm.
No, it is a battle, this fucking thing, but it's you learn a lot of life lessons, and you learn so many different things parallel to motivational stuff. I find in stand-up comedy, just life lessons.
Oh, it's just such a great self-examination tool, really, regardless of what the output is or the outcome is.
Yeah,
it's just you're digging into bits, and which I don't think regular everyday Bob does.
No,
which which I always felt
introspective,
different
thinking.
At certain periods of growing up, or even as a grown up, where socially you can't, or do you ever find yourself sort of eavesdropping at the supermarket, and you'll hear a couple talking about what they're getting, or whatever. And you think it's really weird that you even sort of think like that.
Yeah.
It might be on the supermarket aisle and they're just small talking between two friends who are there shopping or whatever, and you just,
Yeah.
I think I've always done it, but just, and you might pick up a good story or hear something funny, or sometimes there's that opportunity to add in, say you're all waiting at the counter, at the there's 4 or 5 people, and that little banter comes about between you and these strangers, who the only thing you've got in common is you both want a bit of chicken. You're lined up at the chicken window, you're looking in there. And sometimes those little banters can be quite funny. Same thing when you're on.
Yeah.
When you can slip into that sort of mode
and when you want to be, you want to be funny as well. And that's see, in America, I did that. I threw all my jokes away, but I made sure I was meeting people and being funny. Like, so I'd go get breakfast, and whoever it was like, I've got to try and make this lady laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to go, all right, I've got to learn your fucking humour. I've got to be funny. Let's be funny. And it helped. That's what saved me in gigs, because I didn't have material, because I piffed it. And then it was mainly crowd work, and just being funny sort of saved me. But during the day, that training, I think being funny is like good during the day. Then when I go on stage, I'm already in that. Okay, I didn't write much today.
Oh, yeah, but you might.
Here's one joke.
But you might run into a bit by doing that.
Yeah, you find a funny story, which I did. I've got bits, like in my bits. There was a girl she was a really beautiful girl at a burger joint opposite where I was staying in Denver, and she was just cleaning up around me, and she just walked up to me and she goes, you've got the most beautiful eyes. They're like oceans.
This burger employee says this.
Yeah, and I'm like, fuck, you're hot. And then, but I've got a bit where I throw that line in about another, a different situation, but it come from that interaction with her. Another bit with a lady in where I'd have breakfast. It was like this old house. It just felt like you was stepping back in the 50s or something. A bit, everyone was a bit backwards. And there was a lady there, and I'd have my eggs on toast, and they'd leave you a little bit of jam and butter for the extra bit of toast. And she'd just be standing near me, just staring at me while I eat. And she'd just stare, because of my accent when I come in, it sort of freaked a few of them out. And she'd come over 3 times during every breakfast going, sir, sorry to bother you, but can I please butter your toast for you? But the way she'd said, I'm just like, are you mental? My whole day is about buttering people's toast.
Did you let her?
No, I'm not sure if I did. But every day I'd go there, and every day she'd be like, "Sir, do you mind if I butter your bread?"
Was she an employee, or was she just some fucking weirdo hanging around?
She might have been
some strange butter fetish.
She did have a bit of a sort of, I've got people under the basement sort of look.
Yeah, they all said yes.
But turn that to another fucking... But yeah, the people who said yes never fucking woke up. With the bingling and the jingling and the druggling.
You ever been wearing headphones and you've gone to itch your ear but forgot?
And you just scratch it. Oh, there is wax on the outside of the headphones coming out. So
okay.
Yeah, there you go. Just eat it. All right, Glenneth. I think we better wrap this thing up.
Oh, I was just starting to get comfortable with the headphones.
It's starting to get warm ears. Well, you're going to have warm ears for the next 2 days, because we've got, it's about 105 in American Celsius or Fahrenheit or whatever they have, which is 35-ish here. 38.
Nice.
So it's going to be fucking hot, Glenneth.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
It's going to be groovy. You need to get to the beach. Anything you got coming up you want to promote?
No.
Your Facebook page?
Nah.
Add Glenn on Facebook.
Nah, I got nothing to...
Ask him questions, life advice and shit. Yeah, just randomly. Just go, "Hi, Glenn, I heard you on Highnoon with Flemo. What do you do about the itchy crease between your balls and your thigh? How do we get rid of that?" And you could just Google it, unless you already know the answer. I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, I was much more comfortable when your shorts are up, man. Now I can't help you with this issue.
That's what the smell is. And then you just type back, "Buy this from the pharmacy."
Yeah, no, it's not what I can do to help.
No. Google it yourself, motherfuckers. Know your role, bitches. Yeah. No, but thanks a lot for coming down, Glenn. It's always a pleasure catching up with you. It's a pleasure getting high.
It's been a pretty pleasant afternoon.
No, it's been spiffy.
It feels later, but I'm sure when the shock of the sun's going to...
It does. It feels
back
like...
to reality of walking out and realising, hey, not even dinner time.
We'll go there and we'll roll another one and discuss a little bit of...
then I'll mention donuts again and it'll all be over.
And fucking donuts, and I'll be at fucking Woolworths. Yeah, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitter, Porno, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram's the other one. Highnoon with Flemos on Facebook. Justin Fleming Comedy on Facebook. At the Flemo on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Got a new YouTube clip too. Yeah, Chris filmed me a few weeks back. I did it about 3 weeks at a lounge, and we filmed on one of the nights, and I went off like a fucking lumberjack. A lot of crowd work. So yeah, that's on YouTube. Go check it out. Give it a like, share, spread the word. That'd be good. Be down with the hood. Yeah, check out Glenn. Become his friend on Facebook and shit. I'll be back probably in a few days with one driving along in the car and filling you in on some whatever bullshit I want to talk about. And we'll be back next week with another guest. And yeah, spread the word. Be cool. Stay in school. Catch you on the other side, homies.
Thanks for having me, man.
Word up, Holmes.